Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about traveling with a toddler. So this is a slightly different video than what I've done on my channel, but I am a mom. That's my favorite and most prized and the job I love the most. I don't even look at it as a job. It's what I love the most about my life is being a mother. And I was thinking about I was thinking about doing a video like this and seeing what kind of response I got. So I've traveled with my son quite a few times actually. We've taken an overseas flight. We went to India last year, and so he was just over 1 at that point. So we've taken a few trips, and I just wanted to share some of my opinions and tips and tricks with you. I'm not claiming to be any sort of expert. They're just my opinions. So if you want to hear what I have to say, stick around. If you don't, then I'll see you in my next one. So I don't have like any kind of, I have things I want to say, but I don't have it scripted or planned in any way. I'm just going to be talking to you guys because I love to do that. But anyways, my son is now 2. He turned 2 in December. And the very first trip we took with him, hold on. The very first trip we took with him was when he was 4 or 5 months old. We went to Vancouver, and so that was his first plane ride. And one of the biggest things that, and he was really little at that point, so of course it was his first trip. So as a mom, I was petrified, and I was, so emotional and so worried because my husband actually wasn't going on that trip with me. I was going with my mom, which is a huge support system. So that would be my first point is, if it's an option to get someone, to make your plans maybe where people can go with you, or someone like, that can really help you out. There's no, I can't tell you the importance that 4 hands is better than 2, and, just to kind of give you a break and give the child a break from you, so you can kind of to travel with me. And that was just the biggest blessing and support system that I could have asked for. So that would be my first thing, is if you can travel with someone, that's always better. I know that's not always possible, and you just do the best you can. But so yeah, traveling with someone that can help you out, that can really understand, and take care and communicate with you in a way that helps you out. So that's that. The next thing was, a couple of things that I want to tell you moms out there is you just need to don't be so hard on yourself. And I know it's natural, and I still do it, and I did it when it was his first trip. Don't freak out. Don't think too much about everything. Don't try to plan every little detail, because the only thing you're going to do is kind of wind yourself up and get worried about, have more things to worry about. So don't do that. Just things will happen how they happen. They will have a diaper explosion, and they will have a meltdown. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about, I know, and I'm not trying to sound insensitive, but I know there's a lot of other people on the plane, but you are on your journey. And I don't mean that in a ignore other people sort of way. Be mindful, but you can't sit there and worry about, oh my God, my child is being too loud. Oh my God, like this is so hard. Just take it easy. Don't worry about it. It's just, like a 3, 4, 5, 6, well, in our case, the second trip was a 14-hour journey, and it'll just be fine. Don't be too hard on yourself. To mention is definitely plan. Now, I know that might sound like, well, you just said don't worry about it, but don't over plan. Plan, but not over plan. So definitely, be prepared. Be prepared for if you need, if you think you're going to need like 2 diapers, bring 4. If you think you're going to need, 1 bottle, bring 2. If you think, if your child is still breastfeeding or formula feeding, make sure, if you're pumping, or if you're taking that with you, or if you're breastfeeding, do it. Like, don't worry about other people. Legally or in any sort of way, nobody can tell you what is best for you and your baby. So yeah, be sure to, like, if you're breastfeeding, I am just, and I'm not like, not in a bashful kind of way, but I just like to be a little bit more discreet. So I always had a nursing cover. I made sure to bring my nursing cover with me, made sure, that was the one time that I did bring a pacifier for your baby or toddler. If it's their first journey, their ears might pop. So make sure that they're sucking on their thumb, or, they told us like not to do this, but I did it anyways because, like I said, I know what's best for my baby. But you know, if they're drinking their bottle, if they're feeding at the time of takeoff or landing, just because it'll help relieve the pressure in their ears. So try and do that. If you have more like a toddler, which my son will be, he's 2, the last trip we took was we went to Dallas, then we went to San Diego for a vacation and a family wedding. So he was just starting, he was at that point where he was just learning to walk, which was so hard because when they discover that they can move around, they don't want to sit still. And I'm sure you guys can relate, you know, a lot of you moms can relate to that. So at that time, yes, I definitely had to bring plenty of things to distract him. I had games and puzzles and toys that I hadn't shown him, you know, before. They were kind of new. And there's so many things out there like that are small enough to fit in your diaper bag or in your purse or things like that, you know, and that just make noise or music or, you know, have like little rattles on them. Save it for the trip and just show it to them on the plane. It'll just keep them distracted. And then the other thing would be sure if they have a security blanket. I know this would be like, would happen to almost everybody. You leave the house and you're at the airport and you check and you're like, oh my God, I left the lovey at home. Don't leave the lovey at home. If he has a lovey or she has a lovey, that's more important than you. Oh, no, they're not. I'm just joking. But don't forget the lovey. Be sure to bring their lovey with you. You know, that's just going to calm them, soothe them, hold them, you know. So that's important. The other thing I wanted to mention was, you know, I know we are so hard on ourselves, and me personally, I am kind of a stickler about a lot of things, whether it's like his routine or his schedule or, you know, oh, he can't really play on the phone a lot, or he can, you know, whatever, only eat this or eat that. Just let yourself go for a little bit. It'll just make it so much easier on you and your child if you are not stressing out over these things that really at the end of it all, you're going to come home, you're going to be back in your routine. Just, yes, now I'm not saying, you know, let them have whatever they want and just spoil them to the point where they're rotten, but make the trip easy for themselves and for you. Let them play on your phone, because guess what? If it works, if it keeps them calm and it keeps them, you know, from not having a meltdown from being around a different surrounding or being in a confined space, and that just makes them sit down and puts less stress on you, take advantage of whatever it is you can take advantage of. Don't feel guilty, don't stress out. And I know these things, like, they sound very preachy as I'm saying them, but I'm saying them from my personal experience. You know, when we went to India, which was a 14-hour non-stop flight, and my son wasn't crawling. He was crawling at that point. He was not walking. And that was so hard because I don't want him to crawl around on a dirty airplane floor. Like, that was so nasty. So, of course, I didn't just let him eat up the germs in the plane, but, you know, we got like the seating that they give you for kids and toddlers and babies. So there was a little bit room ahead of us, and I laid a blanket down and I let him kind of just sit there freely a little bit with, you know, so he could maybe crawl in a limited amount of space, but he could crawl nonetheless. And the air hostess was like, you can't do that. And I'm just like, well, stop me. I mean, I'm not trying to be like that person who's trying to get kicked off a flight, and I'm not going to create like a scene about it. You know, if they're really, really strict and they really are like, no, you really can't do that, whatever, then I won't do it. But she was like, you know, you can't do that, but maybe just pick him up after 10 minutes. And that's fine. And, you know, which they're bending the rules for you too. So a lot of times now you might get the bitch who is like, hates kids and doesn't want to, you know, deal with you or your child. Then you deal with her like you deal with any other bitch. Most of people are very understanding. They, you know, if it's someone that has kids or knows kids or nieces and nephews and whatever, they will be very understanding. And, you know, they were just like, you know, that's fine. He's not really supposed to do that. Just be very careful, and definitely for takeoff and landing, make sure you pick him up. Of course, I'm not going to argue that. I don't want to argue that. But you hold your ground, keep your calm, you know, stress less, pack, but don't overpack, bring their lovey with you, let go, you know, let go of some control, let them have something that might suit them, whether it's a certain kind of food or whether it's your phone or whether it's, you know, an iPad. It's okay. You know, it's not the end of the world. And the other thing I wanted to say, you know, is definitely plan for not having, especially like, and I found this, which was like such a hard trip with a 12-month-old, because they're not really eating well, they're eating solid foods, but there's so much that they still can't eat, and it really has to be mushy, and it really has to be soft, and they don't have any teeth. So, plan for not being able to. Now, of course, if they're like 3 or 4, like this trip is going to be a lot easier in some ways, and it's going to be a lot harder in some ways, because now he is developing a personality, and he doesn't want to sit still, and he knows how to throw a tantrum. But back then it was harder because there was just so many restrictions on his diet and his movement and things like that. So, plan ahead to make sure you take the pouch, depending on where you're going. Plan for not being able to just find exactly what you need. Once again, don't overpack, don't overplan it, don't overthink it, but definitely think about, bringing a thing of snacks with you. I would always take like a couple of Ziploc bags full of Cheerios, because he loves Cheerios. And a lot of times TSA will, I don't know, I guess if you're nice to people, and if you kind of put that vibe out there, like, hey, I'm traveling with a kid, go easy on me, they'll kind of do that. You just push the boundaries a little bit. Don't push them a lot, don't push the envelope too much, but push the boundaries just a little bit. Just be like, oh, it's my first time, I'm so nervous. And then they'll let you take that bag of Cheerios, or they'll let you get by. I took bottles of water, which is like such a no-no. And I had one in my diaper bag to make his formula, because he was on formula when we went to India, and they let it go. I was just like, they made me take a sip out of it, which is fine. And they were like, they let me take it, which typically they would make you throw it out. So, push it a little bit, kind of put a feeler out there, see if you're dealing with someone that might actually be like understanding of you. And you will see, like when I was pushing, a stroller, and I had a diaper bag, and my luggage, people are just, there are some like complete assholes out in the world, and go in your little asshole bubble and don't show yourself to me. But there are people that are so nice, and they're so helpful. They're just like, let me get your bag, or, do you need my help? Now, of course, I don't recommend you, like the one lady was like, I was at the baggage claim, and this was a trip that I took by myself because my husband was coming on a different flight to San Diego. And one woman was like, and she was really nice, and she was like, oh, I'll just stand here with your child, you can go get your bags. And I'm like, thanks, but no thanks. Like, I'd much rather struggle. Like, and she was probably fine, but I'm not gonna leave my child with you and go get my bags. Like, no, that's okay, I'll struggle. Why don't you watch my bags, and I'll take my kid. But she was really sweet. The point is that she offered. As a mom, we worry so much. I think that's part of our job description, is you're gonna worry about everything that you can, and then some, and you're gonna plan and overthink and overanalyze, and just think that the worst is gonna happen. Just take it easy on yourself. You worry about yourself, and you worry about your child. Don't worry about anything else or anyone else. Push the boundaries a little bit, see if people are willing to help you out, and take the help. If you can take a family member with you, nothing like it. But you might meet like a nice lady who's like a grandma, and she might just be a helpful person. So accept help, but be smart about it, please. Don't just accept help from anybody, or anybody for that matter. But just if someone wants to grab your bag from the overhead compartment, that's okay, let them, and don't worry about your child, they'll be fine. Kids and children, I found, even just being in like healthcare, as my profession, kids are so resilient. They are so strong, and I feel a lot of times just us worrying about it makes us weaker a little bit, and but as a mom, you can't help it. You're gonna worry about everything. That's just your life. But just take it easy on yourself. Enjoy, because these times, once you're going through it, it'll just seem like that day is just going by so slow, but the years will just pass by so fast. My 2-year-old, I can't believe he's 2, and this is his 4th trip. And I was just thinking the other day, our first trip, we had him in a carrier, and I was still breastfeeding, and I was just so worried, and I had packed like everything and then some, and then I'm just like, by the end of it, I'm like, oh my God, like I just made it harder on myself. Now we don't even take his pack and play. At first I was those moms like, oh my God, he's not gonna sleep on the bed with me, but, and yes, of course, there's a time when you don't want that to happen, when they're too little and you can roll over them, but he's 2, like, I am not about to make things difficult for myself that I don't have to. So, he sleeps in bed with me when we're traveling. I'm not going to carry another piece of luggage, which is just going to charge me more money and whatever. I tend to take it a little bit easy, and I do the best I can. I still worry about everything, and I still pack everything, and I still take everything, but I try to edit myself, and I try to minimize. You're going to plan, and then something's going to happen. The one thing that you didn't plan for is going to happen. So roll with the punches. Be easy on yourself. And the other thing I will say, you know, when we took these trips, I was so wound up, and I was so stressed out that a lot of times I've been lucky to have a support system, whether it's my husband or my mom or my sister, but and they take it from me, you know, like I would just get so cranky, and I would become such a bitch, like, just because I'm snapping at everything and I'm so particular. But so, you know, appreciate the people that are trying to help you, appreciate your support system. But that's all, you know, I mean, I could go on forever, and there's so many things that, you know, and download the apps, like, you know, some practical things. My son loves the TV show, like, he loves Mickey Mouse, and he loves Baby First TV, so I'll be sure to download those apps, because it'll just be something he'll relate to and he'll watch. I'm taking like some books that he can color, you know, just like pages, not like a big thick book, but I'm bringing my iPad just because I know that that will hold its attention for a while. I've saved some toys that I'll be just saving them for the trip. He has his own seat, so he'll be able to, and then if he's tired enough, you know, he'll fall asleep. If not, I'm not going to push it. I'm not going to be a huge stickler about, I mean, of course I'm going to want him to take naps, but if it doesn't happen for 3 or 4 days, we'll wing it. We'll wing it with the schedule. We'll see how it goes. And I plan on enjoying myself and making memories and not stressing out over every little thing. So I hope that helped. I feel like I hadn't scripted anything. I didn't, you know, so I'm sure after I'm done filming this, I'll be like, oh my God, like I forgot to say this, and this is so important, and that's so important. If I think of anything like that, I'll leave that in the description box below, because like I said, I didn't script this. This is just from one mom to whoever, how many ever moms are watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you are traveling with your child, safe travels, take care of yourself, have fun, make memories. Make memories. I love you, and that's it. I'll see you guys in my next one. I love you. Bye-bye.